And it's kind of just like a marketing strategy. But here's the thing, they actually sell. Two white stockings for $34? Do with that information what you will. Hey guys, welcome back into the channel. Today I want to share with you 8 items that are super duper weird, but will actually sell on eBay and anybody can do it. So a lot of the times sellers that sell on eBay will talk about very distinct items like clothing or housewares or, you know, vintage items. But today I want to talk specifically about 8 really weird things that you might not think to sell that actually do sell on eBay. I'm gonna sit here with you guys and we're gonna look at sold comps, not just active listings. And bonus, most of them are dirt cheap and anyone can sell them. So the first one that I wanna talk about is one that I think most people probably know about by now, but I'm not going to expose the TikToker. I'm not gonna do it. But there are more than one TikTokers that are in the reselling community that I have seen that have publicly posted that they will sell haunted dolls that may or may not actually be haunted. So here's the thing, I am not gonna give anybody grief for saying that a doll is haunted without actually being haunted, because if you believe in that kind of thing, that's cool. If you don't believe in that kind of thing, you're gonna say no doll is haunted. But I have seen people go to thrifts or estate sales, likely most of the items that are here that I am looking at right now, that will find an old vintage antique doll and they will post them on eBay claiming that they are haunted, and it's kind of just like a marketing strategy. But here's the thing, they actually sell. You can see here, there's over 1,700 haunted doll sold listings in the last 90 days. 1,700. And I think that a lot of the appeal of a haunted doll also has risen with social media. I saw a lot of people sharing on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it, Facebook, about buying a haunted doll, and it gets views. So I think a lot of people are actually going to eBay to find haunted dolls to make content out of it. I think a lot of people also collect them. I think a lot of people might really be into that kind of thing and they want to collect spirits. Like, I don't know what people are doing with these haunted dolls, but they sell. Obviously, over 1,700 have sold in the last 90 days. And look at a lot of these prices. We have $30, $42, $90.99, $75, $65. Oh, a haunted lamb chop. I remember Lamb Chop sing along. This is the song that doesn't end. I used to love Lamb Chop. I didn't know that there was a haunted Lamb Chop doll. It sold for $17 plus the cost of shipping. $40, $55, $50. Now, you might have to ask yourself, is there really this many haunted dolls that exist? Probably not. They're probably not all haunted. It's just a marketing strategy. But I know from visiting estate sales myself, you can find old, ratted, beat up dolls that look a little creepy. I mean, I've found some dolls that look a little creepy. Who's to say you can't buy a doll like this from an estate sale or Goodwill or a yard sale and simply market it on eBay as a haunted doll? And maybe you only paid $3 or $4 for it. You could turn $3 or $4 into $30 or $40 just from the idea that this creepy looking doll might be haunted. Might or might not be up your alley, but it's an idea for you. Next up is pre-owned pantyhose. Okay, so back in the day, when like Disney Black Diamond VHS tapes were, you know, a thing. If you don't know about that, there's, you know, there was this theory that all these Disney VHS tapes were worth thousands upon thousands of dollars on eBay. Turns out it was just allegedly money laundering, you know, whatever. But back in those days, people were also selling worn socks, worn shoes, and things like that for people that might have a little bit of fetishes. Not gonna judge. You're gonna do what you're gonna do. Entrepreneur's gonna entrepreneur. You make that bag. Anyway, pre-worn pantyhose and nylons are still a very, very big thing on eBay. You could see here, there's 37 sold listings in the last 90 days. Not as popular as the haunted dolls, but look at these prices. You could get 6 pairs of pre-owned nylons for $19. Here is a vintage set of leg sheer pantyhose, a bundle of 5 for $28. Here is a bundle of 10 for $46, plus the cost of shipping. That's not free shipping. That's, $28 plus shipping, $46 plus shipping. Look at this set of 10 pairs of pre-owned pantyhose for $99.50. Now, do we think that there's something else going on here? Like, someone not buying these for crafts, if you can catch my drift? Yeah, maybe, possibly. Again, not gonna shame, but $99 for 10 pre-owned nylons, pantyhose. What? Like, what the heck, man? And these photos aren't even really that appealing. They're just like piled up in a pile, And if you shop at a Goodwill bin store, if you can find this kind of stuff at a Goodwill bin store, it's virtually weightless. If you're unfamiliar with a Goodwill bin store, it's basically where you buy Goodwill merchandise by the pound. So when you have something like nylons or tights or pantyhose that are virtually weightless, you can get these things for pennies, just pennies, and then sell a bundle of 8 or 10 for $50 to $100. It just... And then they're cheap to ship too, because they're virtually weightless. It's just, wow. Lot of 29 for $50. 6 pairs for 17. 6 pairs for 42. Two white stockings for $34. I just... do with that information what you will. So this is something else that requires a little bit more knowledge, but it's cheap to acquire, and there are tools out there to help you learn, and that is selling pennies on eBay. That's right, pennies. So we're gonna look at the sold listings because there are, hundreds of thousands of active, but if we look at the sold listings, there's over 130,000 sold listings. That's a sell-through rate of something like 25%, which is pretty awesome. Like you could see here right at the top, there is a 1955 Lincoln wheat penny that sold for $20. There's a 1909 Indian cent that sold for $32.99, a 1911 wheat cent penny for $22, and it just goes on and on and on. Now I say pennies are cheap to acquire because a penny is a single cent. Now, it might take a little bit of skill to figure out where to acquire older pennies. Do you just want to go to the bank, and do you want to exchange, 2 quarters for a roll of pennies and just keep thumbing through and finding pennies that are a little bit more rare? And then how do you know if they're rare? You could do simple Google searches to just simply find out what pennies are worth money. So for instance, let me just go see that. What pennies are worth money according to AI? You want to look for 1909 pennies. You want to look for Lincoln pennies with these specific years. You want to look for Indian head pennies, Flying Eagle pennies, Steel Lincoln pennies from 1943. Then if you want to go a step further, if you don't just want to research, there's an app for that. There are actually several apps that exist where you can take a photo of a coin and then the app will tell you if you have a diamond in the rough. It'll give you, details about the coin. It'll tell you approximate value of the coin just based off of a photo that you snap. I actually learned about this when I had my brick and mortar store. I had a customer that came in and was asking me questions about selling, and I asked them if they were already a seller, and they told me yes, they actually sold coins, and they had told me that there was an app that had existed for this kind of thing, and I thought that was really cool. You could just take a picture of a coin, upload it into this coin scanner app, and it tells you if you have a rare coin that might be worth more than face value. And so this goes for not just pennies, but also nickels and dimes and quarters. The possibilities are endless. But a lot of people don't think about selling pennies on eBay. They can be worth a lot of money. If we sort and we go to highest price, there are pennies here that have sold for thousands of dollars. Like, who would have thought that a penny from 1955 would have sold for almost $4,500? It's crazy. So stop, dropping pennies. start picking them up. Start picking up the pennies, scan them with the scanner app, and see if you can sell them on eBay for a lot of money. Something else that you can get entirely for free that will sell on eBay is pine cones. That's right. If you have a pine tree or a freaking forest near your backyard, go pick up pine cones. Now, pine cones don't sell for a ton of money, but they sell. There's over 2,800 listings currently, and if we search for the sold items, there is 451 sold items. So now that is a sell-through rate of, maybe 10 or 15%, I think. 704, no, way more than that. Just kidding. I was thinking anyway. So the sell-through rate is actually pretty good. People are selling bundles of 15 pine cones for $37. We've got 55 pine cones for, $10. We've got really large pine cones for 15 to 20, 20 pine cones for $15, 3 super large pine cones for $45. And these are cheap to ship because they are super lightweight. So not only can you potentially acquire them for free, but then they are also cheap to ship. So what are people using pine cones for? Decoration, crafts, that kind of thing. So get out there and find you some pine cones. See if you could sell some on eBay. In that same vein is also empty toilet paper rolls. We all use toilet paper, and they all have, a cardboard tube in the toilet paper roll. And they sell for things like crafts. Now they don't sell for nearly as much, but I think the average household probably goes through 4 or 5 rolls of toilet paper a week, just depending on, is it single ply, 2-ply, tri-ply? I don't know. Depends on how fast you're going to go through your toilet paper rolls. But if you start selling empty toilet paper rolls on eBay, you might be more inclined to go with the 1-ply so you could roll through those rolls a lot faster. So 550 current active results. Let's take a look and see what the solds look like. Okay, so not nearly as many solds. There's only 37 solds in the last 90 days. So empty toilet paper rolls might not be your next $1 million idea, but it is something for free that you can get that will actually sell on eBay. Something else that you might not think about is selling other people's old family photos. Going back to the idea of the dolls at estate sales, I've been to several estate sales where you see old family photos that people just don't want. They're family members that the person at the estate sale may or may not know. There might be a yard sale with just boxes upon boxes of old photographs that people don't want. Those actually can sell. Of course, they might have to be, vintage or from 100 years ago, but that doesn't mean that they cannot be found, and it doesn't mean that they don't sell. You can see here there's over 5,000 results for vintage family photos over the last 90 days. And look at some of these. One single photo could sell for $5. It's just a simple antique tintype studio photograph. Children wearing a football uniform and helmet vintage sold for $5 plus the cost of shipping. Early 20th century family photos, Victorian cabinet photos, a lot of 50 original random old photos sold for $9.99 plus the cost of shipping. Vintage photos from the 70s, a total of 60 photos for $15 plus shipping. All of these are plus shipping. Nobody's doing free shipping, it seems like. But it's the idea that even though they're old family photos that someone is either giving away or selling at a yard sale or has at an estate sale, or photos that you find in the trash, they could be virtually free just because people don't want them anymore. They don't want to deal with them. Therefore, you can take them, sell them on eBay, and make some money. This is something that I thought was pretty cool, and I could not believe that they were commanding a price like they were, and that is used lottery tickets. Scratchers, people that have literally scratched off scratchers that did not win. Keep in mind, these are not winning lottery tickets. These are losing lottery tickets people are selling. So there's over 1,100 active. Let's see how many have sold. 164 have sold in the last 90 days. Let's take a look at some of these prices. Here's a lot of 2024 Pennsylvania scratch-offs sold for $40 plus shipping. There's over $12,000 worth of New York State losing scratch-offs for $68.99. Wow. Wow. First of all, wow that somebody spent over $12,000 on scratchers only to lose But still, they made back almost $69. Let's just say that. If you're gonna spend a whole bunch of money on scratchers and not actually win anything, the least you could do is sell your scratchers on eBay and make a little bit of your money back. Here's a lot for $100 plus the cost of shipping. Holy cow. So I'm not saying to go out and buy a whole bunch of scratchers yourself and then sell them. I'm saying to maybe put out a Facebook ad, maybe put out a feeler for, people that might do scratchers all the time. Maybe put out the information that you will take their losing tickets and you can sell them. So you could potentially get these scratchers for free if you just let people know that you will take them off their hands, and you could sell them for profit. I mean, that's a lot of money for scratchers if you ask me. And then the 8th item that you might not think to sell, that's a little bit weird and you might need to be told to even know that it could be an item that you can sell, is pieces of your own personal broken appliances. So I have a couple examples I want to look at. And so let's just say I have an Instant Pot, right? I actually have 2 Instant Pots. I have a 6-quart and an 8-quart. I use them both a lot. And if my Instant Pot broke, I would sell the inner pot. Let's take a look. So if for some reason my 6-quart Instant Pot just suddenly crapped out one day and stopped working, I wouldn't just throw the whole thing in the trash. You could sell the lid, you could sell the ring that goes in the lid, and you can sell the inner 6-quart pot. So the inner 6-quart pot, let's see, there's 756 results. And keep in mind, this would be considered free inventory because it's something that I already had and it just simply broke, so I'm going to piece it out and sell it for parts. There's 325 sold listings in the last 90 days for an Instant Pot 6-quart inner pot. Here's a pre-owned one sold for $13.64 plus the cost of shipping. Here's one that sold for $22. Here's a pre-owned one that sold for $38. Another one that sold for $16.99. Even if the machine itself doesn't work, you could still sell pieces that people need to replace in their that are still working. Another example that I have is my KitchenAid mixer. So if tomorrow my KitchenAid mixer crapped out, I would sell all the parts. I would sell the bowl. The bowls can sell for pretty decent money. Let me get to some sold listings here. Here is a stainless steel whisk that sold for $15 and it's pre-owned, and that's plus the cost of shipping. There's another bowl that sold for $30. Here's all 3, the dough whisk, the egg beater, and the paddle, all sold for $20 plus the cost of shipping. So just because you have a kitchen appliance or something in your house that breaks, see if you can part it out on eBay. And again, I say it's essentially free inventory because it's something that you already owned that broke, and you can use the money that you get from piecing it out and selling it on eBay to potentially buy you a replacement. So there's a little bonus hack. So those are 8 really weird items that actually sell on eBay. Let me know down in the comments below, what are some weird items that either you have sold on eBay or can be sold on eBay. Maybe I will include them in an upcoming video because I love this kind of stuff. I love thinking outside the box. If you've watched my channel before, I don't like to do things within a box. I like to think outside the box, and selling weird items like this on eBay is definitely a way to do that. So if you have any weird or bizarre items, please drop them down in the comments below, and I might feature them in my next video that I do that is like this. Do not forget to check the video description box. I always put a lot of useful information in there, including the links to all of my selling platforms. If you have not yet subscribed, please do, and be sure to ring that notification bell. That way you're notified whenever I post my next video. Last but not least, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. It really helps me out with the YouTube algorithm, so I appreciate you for it. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye.